so surprised. I'm like happy to see that people are here. I have that bad anxiety of before I walk out, like nobody's gonna be there.
You have no problem packing them all. You already have a line for Q&A, so yeah. I'm just gonna ask a question or two. We're gonna throw it right to the Q&A. So I wanted to know if you have any rituals that you have to do before, let's say a character like Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy. Anything you have to do to get into character before filming?
No, besides the makeup. It's weird, I kind of, I don't. I think I found on the second film, it was weird, when I was chemistry testing with Palm for the second film, I realized how comfortable I'd become in the character. And now it's like, it's second nature, and especially after I put the makeup on, I just, I feel like Drax. I think I'm pretty much Drax anyway. That's how I got the role. I don't have to put a whole lot of thought into it. Just, give me my lines, go out there and say ridiculous stuff.
So this is something that you did as you were getting into the makeup?
No, I zone out. Yeah, I zone out because it's awful. It's horrible. So I kind of just go to another place. But I'm very zen like that. Yeah.
Awesome. And also, is there anything specifically that maybe draws you to a role?
Yeah, I like. It's gonna sound odd, but I like playing tortured souls. Like I love playing characters that are conflicted. I don't like playing your straightforward, tough guy. I like playing guys with emotion, with depths of emotion. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So if it's all right with you, we're going to throw it right to the Q&A. So it is one question per person, no requests, but beyond that, are we ready to go?
Yeah.
All right. Let's get into it. What's your name?
My name's Keith. I'm from St. Louis. Hi, Dave. How are you doing?
Hey, man, how are you?
I'm doing well. Congratulations on your nationals, buddy.
Thanks.
So I thought your last two runs in the WWE were fantastic. And I wanted to know what it was like going from acting, going back to the WWE, because I thought your promos were really great. And taking that acting skill set, especially like the ones you did where you attacked Flair.
Sure.
I thought those were
okay.
well delivered.
Thank you.
And so, what was that like taking that acting skill back to doing your wrestling promos?
It was just as uncomfortable. I definitely, it's weird. It hasn't gotten easier for me, but I've found certain ways to deal with it. It's just a nightmare for me to be in front of people with a microphone, but I found certain ways to deal with it. And the biggest thing, that's helped me is they've kind of just let me, especially on this last run, just kind of do whatever I want. I came back, I had an idea, I pitched it, like, ready to go. Happy to have you back. Go do whatever you want. So it just became, much easier for me to work with. So that's helped a lot, because it was on my run before that, which was a nightmare. It's like I was not only going in and arguing every week, but I was so worked up knowing that I was going to have to go in and argue every week that it just put such a damper on it. So this last time it was nothing but, they just kind of gave me free rein, and I was just I was working with a guy I love very much, I respect very much. So it was just nothing but great.
Well, definitely came across as natural. I thought it was fantastic.
It was like a storybook ending for me. Like my last run, I feel so content with my career now. Like I was so content walking away like that. And so I think I was very openly grateful, but if I wasn't, I can't even tell, say to the fans how much I appreciated the way they sent me off. Because I just feel like I can, like I said it, I don't know if you saw my 24/7, but I said that I felt like I could retire in peace, and I meant it, and I still feel it. And that's a nice thing. It's not a nice thing, it's a great thing to be able to go on with the rest of my life and have content with that part of my life and not have to feel like I missed out on something. I left something on the table or it didn't end the way I wanted to, and have to, those regrets. I don't have to live with regret.
Congratulations on a great career, and we look forward to seeing you in the Hall of Fame.
Thank you.
Well, you briefly mentioned Ric Flair, and we have Happy Revolution here this weekend. I was wondering, out of curiosity, are you a Lemmy fan? Like, do you like Motorhead?
Yeah, of course.
I love that theme song.
I play Line in the Sand all the time. Yeah, just around my house, I just love listening to it. And I feel like there was a certain electricity, like an energy with that music, and my music as well. And I wish like we could pass that music down to people, because I feel like the music deserves to live on. I feel like the people would still enjoy it and get riled up every time they heard it. But Maybe Charlotte will start something and they'll let her use that music. It's great music. I wish they would retire it.
I agree.
Yeah.
Definitely. All right, what's your name?
David, recently you started Master Z Ip Man Legacy. What was it like working with Max Jong, Tony Jaa, Michelle Yeoh? And if given an opportunity, would you like to fight Donnie Yen on film?
Yeah. Yes. Well, I would just like to work with Donnie. But it was great. It's a little rough filming in China. They have a different set of rules. But other than that, the experience, I went over to do that film specifically because I wanted to work with Wu Ping. I wanted that in my resume. I wanted to say that I worked with Wu Ping. And if anybody knows Kung Fu, they know Wu Ping. And so to work with him is like, it's a real special thing to have in your resume. So that's why I went. But I definitely bonded with Max. I love Max a lot. Max is one of the hardest working people I've ever met. And Michelle is just, she's mesmerizing. Not only she's so talented, but she's so beautiful. So no, it was great. And Tony, I love Tony. Tony and I, we didn't really have many scenes together, but at the time we shared an agent. So we spent a lot of time, when we weren't filming, just hanging out. And he's one of the most beautiful souls I've ever met. That dude is like one of the sweetest people I've ever met in my life.
Thank you.
Thanks, man. Hey.
My name's Angela. I'm from Louisville here. I recently saw an announcement that you adopted a couple of puppies, and I was wondering if you could tell us about that adoption story.
Yeah. So, well, it's weird how it happened because I lost my dogs in the divorce, and anybody who knows me knows that my dogs were like my children. And so it was perfect timing. I work with an organization called Frankie's Friends in Tampa. And so they hit me up and said they had these two pit bulls. What happened was they'd been together, they're siblings, they're from the same litter, and they'd been together their whole lives. And they were turned into a shelter. They were abused and neglected. They were turned into a shelter. And they immediately separated them. And so when the organization found out about it, they just adopted them. They just took them out of the shelter. They were putting them in temporary foster homes just to keep them together because they didn't want them separated because it would do permanent psychological damage to them. So they adopted them out to a temporary home, and then they started looking for their permanent home. They hit me up, and I said I'd love to meet them, and they brought them over a couple weeks ago, and I said they're not leaving, leave them here. They were missing.
What are their names?
Maggie and Olive.
What's good, Dave?
Hey, how are you?
Hey, I'm Caleb from Cookeville, Tennessee.
Thank you.
I was just wondering, what was your favorite on-set moment with Chris Pratt?
Oh man. It would be hard to pick a moment, but there's a lot of moments because Chris is he's a very spontaneous person. So you never know when we're going to start an exercise class, or you never know when we're going to start a sing-along. And he's such a witty, smart person. Like he'll just start to make up these songs, and they're the most ridiculous things you ever. Like I can't remember what it was, but one day he just decided to make up a song about peeing. And he started singing, like he went on for like 20 minutes about this song about him peeing. And it was the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard, but it was just all kind of moments like that. Thanks, Haley.
Hello, my name is Augusta. I'm from Nashville. Great to see you and get to say hello. When did you decide that you wanted to become an actor?
Has that always been since you were small?
God, no. Even when I was well into my wrestling career, I had absolutely no desire to act. And then it was really weird because I did a couple things while I was with WWE, and still I care less. I just wanted to wrestle. But I went and did a film. It was really a favor to a friend, and I couldn't really care. But I went and did it, and I was so embarrassed of how bad I was at it. That I wanted to get better, and that's why I wanted to be an actor. I didn't necessarily want to have a career, in films. I just wanted to be a better actor. I was so mortified how bad I was at it, so I just wanted to be better in that. So I just started pursuing it, and then I just became obsessed with it.
Thank you.
Hi there, John from Cincinnati here. So we finally got you in the video game, Gears of War. When are we going to get the movie? I know you, like us, want the movie to happen.
It's
Where is
so
that process?
I will share that I think the first draft of the script, I think it's done. It was supposed to be done this month. They've been through many versions. It's been with Universal for a while. I've been tracking this film for years. I've met with every producer who was ever attached to. I've met with the CEO of Universal. I actually went in and had a meeting with Universal, and they said, well, you know, what do you think about Fast and Furious? I was like, not interested. Let's talk about Gears of War. They were pretty put off by that, which I heard from my agent later on. But it is. I am passionate. I want to play Marcus Phoenix, and I'm going to keep beating on their door. But I'm kind of in the dark right now as far as where they're at, other than the first version of the new script is supposed to be done. It's, right now, it's with producer Dylan Clark. You probably know him from like Planet of the Apes. He did the last series of Planet of the Apes. He's a great producer. So I'll keep, bugging him, harassing him, showing up, on his doorstep.
And we can all tweet at him and, whatever we have to do to help out.
Yeah, but I am getting a lot of support, especially from the fans, but also from Microsoft and from Universal. So I think it's going to happen. If I give you my best guess, and it's just a guess, I would say in the next couple of years, as long as this script is ready to go. They're not going to make it until the script is right, which is a good thing.
Thank you. We would love to see you as Marcus.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi,
Hey.
my name is Tess.
Hey, Tess.
Did the cast of Guardians of the Galaxy ever play pranks on each other?
No, not really. No, I don't remember. There was a lot of joking, a lot of laughs. We never pranks on each other. We're it was much more of a family atmosphere. So never really pranking each other. Not that I'm aware of. The only real prankster we had, he was never intentionally playing pranks on people. The only real prankster we had was Mike Rooker. And it's just because he's just such a wackadoo. You never know what's going to happen. He literally, I tell the story all the time, but the first time he met, she was my girlfriend at the time, and she's my ex-wife now. But the first time we ever met her, I brought her to set, and I was in the middle of the introduction, and he just picked her up and ran away with her. And I said, Mike, bring her back. And he sat her down. He was laughing the whole time. I said, don't ever do that again. He just laughed. But that's kind of the closest. Don't do it, right?
Hey Dave, my name's Jonathan. I'm from here in Central Kentucky. Hey, first I want to humbly ask your forgiveness because when they first announced Dave Bautista was going to play Drax in Guardians of the Galaxy, my first gut reaction was the a-hole wrestler guy. Honestly, you knocked it out of the park. I can't imagine anybody else playing the character.
Yeah.
My question is, now that Guardians is moving on into the next phase of the MCU, I know a lot of actors have a set number of times they want to play a character. So what is your feelings towards that? Are you in the mindset of you're in it for the long haul? Do you see yourself playing Drax for the next entire phase?
What I want to do is finish what I started. So I want to do Guardians 3. There's been rumors and this and that about Guardians being involved in other Marvel films, and to be honest with you, I'm not really interested. I just want to finish what I started. I want to start with, finish with the people I love and started it with. It's kind of, I've done 4 films as Drax now. I'm 50 years old now. 51, 52-year-old Drax isn't going to look like 48-year-old Drax. And I've had this conversation with Marvel. But I do, I just want to finish what I started, man. I love these guys. I love James, I love the cast, and I want to see the conclusion of this. I want to see it finish, I want to wrap it up. So hopefully it'll happen very soon, and we all know there's going to be a Guardians 3, and I hope to be involved. I want to, you know, to do Guardians 3 as Drax.
He gives you a call and says, you got Guardians 4 or another Avengers movie for you to be in?
No, it's not that I don't love the character. I just, you know, I'm 50 years old now. You know, I don't want to be walking around on set shirtless. You know, I just, it's kind of run its course with me. You know, over 4 films, and you know, they're hard. They're hard films to do. It's not physically. It's you wouldn't think, but it's quite a demanding role.
Yeah.
You know, taking its toll on me.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Fantastic.
Yeah, thank
Do you have a favorite song from the Awesome Mix?
you. It would be, God, that would be a toss-up. It would be I Want You Back or Hang 'Em Out. Yeah, it would be one of those 2 songs. Yeah, I don't know. There were songs I loved before the film, but then now there's songs that I just relate directly to the end of that film, which to me is like, it was such a beautiful thing. So it'd be one of those 2 songs, but it would be a toss-up.
Awesome. Okay, you can pick 2.
Yeah.
Hey Dave, my name is Brandon. Well, how was it working with Daniel Craig in Spectre? I believe you had a great fight scene in the train.
No, it was great. I love Daniel. Daniel is, it's weird because he may come across as a very serious human being, but he's really fun. He's really pleasant. Like between takes, he's singing, and he's very, I don't know, he's a very happy person. He's fun to work with, a lot of laughs, and he's a little rough around the edges. You know, he's likes his rugby, likes to work out. So it was, it was a great experience. It was, you know, the only weird thing about Spectre for me is I felt like they're like with Guardians, it's such a family thing, it's such a camaraderie thing. With Spectre, I felt like, you know, a lot of times between takes, everybody went their separate ways, and I didn't feel the same camaraderie. But with Daniel, it's great. I actually ran into him earlier this year, and it was great, man. It was like big hugs. It was like, you know, 2 old friends I hadn't seen anymore. And we're not that close. We don't like call each other and say, hey, Danny boy, what's up? It's that, you know, that type of relationship. But he gave me like the biggest hug and the biggest embrace. I felt like, this guy really loves me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
All right, we have about 5 minutes left, so we'll try to get through maybe 2, 3, 4 questions.
Hello, my name is Keegan. I'd like to first say that I just love your character. I personally related with someone with autism because I see a lot of autistic qualities with your character. References go over your head. Person that doesn't understand metaphors. Was your character based on someone with autism, or how do you personally relate to Drax?
I don't, you know, I can't answer that honestly because the first draft of Guardians, God, the woman's name is escaping me, but I think it was written by a woman and James Gunn did a pass. And I don't know who he based Drax on. I know some of the references are from him. Like I can openly say that the sensitive nipple thing comes directly from James Gunn. But I can't give you an honest answer to that because I just don't know. For me, it's weird. I didn't pick up the similarities until they were brought to my attention after the first film, and I totally get it and I totally see it. And sometimes I can very much relate because I think issues along that path. But yeah, as far as like playing them and related to, I don't really put a whole lot of thought into that. I just understand I understand what the references are, and so I just play them straight. I'm just a good straight man. That's my strength. You know, I don't have a real like comedy background or anything, but I know that I have a strength as a straight man. And that's what Drax is really.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Kayla. I'm from Nashville. First of all, I actually got to witness your last match at WrestleMania, so thank you for that. It was like a big honor for me. I'm a huge fan. I was going to ask about your dogs, but somebody beat me to that. So what was harder, training for your last match or training for Guardians?
Oh, my last match.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was rough. I mean, I was just having this conversation this morning. I don't think people will realize it. I hadn't been in a ring in 5 years. I mean, I hadn't wrestled with anybody in 5 years. I went in for a couple of workouts right before the match, but I had nothing. We got in there, Hunter and I hadn't even touched each other. So I was a little bit nervous about how it was going to come off, and I don't know, 5 minutes into it, I knew we were okay. But physically, as soon as I started pumping around and jolting around, I came out of that match with a few not injuries, but I was beat up a little bit. I was sore for a long time. I hurt my hip in that, and still suffering like a little bit. And I don't want to say suffering like I'm like everyday pain, but still having issues with it. But it's just because I think that 50-year-olds aren't meant to do that. But I just didn't want to leave I didn't want to leave anything on the table. I wanted to go back and retire the right way. So that was my opportunity. I took it, paying for it a little bit now, but I'm not sorry. I don't regret it at all.
Well, I was crying in the stands, so thank you. We were all really proud of you.
Thank you, I
And really
appreciate
happy to see you go out the way that you
Yeah,
did.
thank
So,
you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, this has to be the final question. I apologize.
Hello, my name is Lucas from Ashland, Kentucky. I've been a fan of yours for 12 years. First time I saw you wrestle The Undertaker at WrestleMania 23, it's one of my favorite matches. I wanted to ask you about the Stuber movie. I actually really enjoyed it. Tell me about your experience making that movie.
It was great. It was a learning curve for me. It was I struggle with comedy. I don't find myself funny.
I thought you did a great job.
Thank you, I appreciate it, because I'm proud of the movie. We got beat up by critics and we got smashed at the box office, but it's because we came out between The Lion King and Spider-Man and Toy Story 4. Of course we got smashed, but some of the critic reviews I didn't understand. It's like I don't know what they were expecting. It's a silly rated R comedy, and they were critiquing it like it's John Wick.
I really liked it a lot.
Yeah. Well, thank you.